people on this call, I'm still expecting you to share with me what your energy is as you're joining us. And then also, as you're sharing, they also tell us what your expectations are. What exactly are you looking forward to get from this call today? Yeah, a lot of people registered to join us. Tell us what your call is, what you hope to achieve from joining us today. What is that one thing that you want to learn, that you want to start doing in your relationship? We'll soon be starting the meeting. We have a poll that I'm going to share in a few minutes as well, so that we can actually be able to address all your concerns. So tell me in the comment section, I'm waiting. In a short while, Doimola is going to join us to take the interactive poll and just talk to us a little bit about what we're doing today before we start fully. But I'm still waiting for your comments, what your energy is like today, this evening. Is Doimola in the room, please? All right, you are up next. Please request to unmute. Let me, so that I can unmute you.
All right, I am here.
All right.
I believe that everyone is doing awesome this evening or afternoon or morning, because I believe that we have different people from different parts of the world here with us this evening or this day. Okay, what do I want to share with us this evening? Please, anytime I say evening, just know that I'm in Nigeria. That is why you're hearing a lot of evening, okay? So there's something that there's a particular video that has been viral this week online. If you are if you love human hair, or you actually love to be online, know what is going on online, you must have seen that video. It's about a particular woman who, she has a hair brand. She sells hair. And she was in that video, apparently she had been beaten by her husband. And she was saying in that video that people should help her. She shared the location of her husband, where he's from, his name, and all of that. And she was doing that to the end that she communicates that, she needs help. Why did she need help? Or why does she need help? Because it's a very recent thing. What happened is her husband somehow has access to the original copies of the land, the house, properties basically in her name. And this can happen to anybody. This can be the reality of anybody, because when you love, it's almost like you're unable to think straight, right? You're unable, because you love, you're pouring out yourself into someone. You don't want to think again. You just want to pour yourself out. And I'm saying all of this with the consciousness that this is Valentine's season, right? And tomorrow is here. In fact, some person, I hope that is none of us on this call, may have, in the season, or because of the season of love, made certain decisions, made certain financial decisions because, they're loving on their partner, they're loving on their friend, whatever the case is, right? So what I'm talking about is why romance and money collide. We really cannot take the fact that in romance, in love, there has to be money. Look at this scenario that I shared. It is actually a real life scenario. I don't even know the name of the person now that maybe shared. And after this webinar, you can have a look or something, right? What is the cultural and emotional framing of money and romance? It is real. I'm sure that every single one of us on this webinar can relate to the fact that in love, there has to be money, right? So, and it is pretty vital for us to treat both love and money from the standpoint of understanding, right? Love is unconditional. We're taught to love unconditionally, selflessly. And money is about boundaries. You cannot treat money without a sense of plan. You cannot treat money as it is a tool and you have to steward it. So usually in love, in romance, you would not think about it that way, except you have the accurate money knowledge that you should have. I mean, in our context, in the world today, if you love someone, you basically want to just empty your account for them. You want to take them on that date. You want to take them on that. You want to surprise them. You don't even have the finance sometimes, but you want to pull up to show that you love, right? It's a cultural thing. I'm sure that some person may actually feel very disappointed or hurt if the person that they expect to show up for them, to be their Valentine, if they don't do the certain things that they desire for them to do, right? And because we are communal, because we're people who, have relationships, have friends. It's even as much as we're talking about romance and money in this session, it is not only for your significant other or someone who you're in a relationship with, like an intimate relationship with. It also extends to family, it extends to people culturally and then emotionally, right? And if you must have the accurate knowledge that in romance, there's money and love just there has to be a thorough understanding of money and love to do things accurately, that you're unconditionally loving somebody or that you're loving unconditionally doesn't mean that you should lose how money should be managed or how money should be made or how money should be multiplied, right? As we go on in tonight's session, you're going to understand, the different identities of money as well as love, and really how you can, maximize both and ensure that they don't, and ensure that even when they collide, you're doing it accurately. That's the essence of, this session. It is important that in this season, you have the understanding of how to manage money and how to love appropriately, how to love who is your Valentine, who is your lover, who is your spouse, whilst managing your money or treating your money accurately, right? I'm sure that you enjoyed the rest of this session. I believe that has, left something with you. I'm just going to hand over to the next person now. And I believe that DTS, or next persons, are amazing guests, Olajimoke and Sheye. Please, DTF, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. much, Doyimola. Thank you for that, for watering the grounds for our speakers to come in. I've been trying to spotlight because I've seen Sheye Oyagbile on this call, and I've been trying to spotlight him for a few minutes now. CK, can you please spotlight him if you can, while I go ahead to read their bio. In the meantime, there's a poll that I would like us to take in a short while. Okay, thank you very much. I can see the amazing couple on my screen. Thank you so much for joining us. For about 21 years, Sheye Oyagbile has worked with thousands of children, helping them grow into capable individuals. He leads two transformative platforms, the Lead Lab, which is basically for building genius to the entrepreneur, teaching in an engaging and a practical way. As a certified LLP practitioner with special expertise in child-focused intervention, Sheye applies brain-based strategies to boost learning, communication, confidence, and mindset development in children. With a background in economics and multiple psychology degrees, this further supports his holistic, research-driven approach to raising children and well-equipped children. That's for Mr. Sheye Oyagbile. For Olajumoke, a lot of us in the Smart Stewards know her. She's one of our coaches, and she is a business entrepreneur. She's a coach who teaches on business development and also helps to train people. But beyond that, she is she's a master. I've been in her. She's smiling now and she's wearing red like me, but she's very, what word should I use? She's a serious human being when it comes to getting you to take grabs on what life really gives to you. And today they are coming.
Good evening, everybody. Please confirm that you can hear us. We were not able to unmute initially. Okay, thank you so much for having us. Good evening. So good to be here. So my name is Olajumoke and this is my husband, Sheye Oyagbile.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us. It's good to be home. I mean, this is home anyways. It's not like we're in a different place. And I'm so excited, as you can see. I'm wearing red, looking all good, ready for Valentine. I was saying to my new technician today that I don't know if my husband is going to re-propose to me tomorrow, and we need to get ready and all of that. I hope that you are having a good day. I hope that your day has been fantastic. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much to Detail. Thank you, Coach Esther. Thank you for being here. So We're going to be talking this evening, on how money reflects value, upbringing, and priorities, and upbringing, priorities, and beliefs. And we literally are just going to be talking from our own view, from our lens. And it will be, I believe that it's going to be a great time. We've been married for just 12 years, I think. Yeah, 12 years. And it's been a beautiful journey. So let's get into it. And I will allow Mr. Oyagbili to go first. How money reflects values.
All right. So, how does money reflect your values? The way you go about making money says a lot about your values as an individual. So, if you believe you can do anything to make money, that might be an indication of the fact that your values might not be particularly strong. So if you feel you can cut corners to make money, for example, so it might just show that your values are a bit low. If you don't mind grinding, like putting your best foot forward when it comes to making money, that might be a good indication that your values are in the right places. So the way you go about making money is a reflection of your personal values as an individual. Yes.
And that could be the right way or the wrong way. It could be that you're trying to make money doing the right things. So you trying to make money doing the right thing is a reflection of your value. You trying to make money doing the wrong thing is also a reflection of your value. And then the upbringing and then priorities and beliefs. And that is bringing us to one of the things that we have used. We call it the table talk in our family. When we were getting married, one of the things that we discussed fully was money. I like money. I love to be spent on. And then my husband as well likes money. But as much as that, as I love money, I also love to make money. I enjoy the sense of making money. And that for me is one of the most beautiful parts of this journey for me, because we as individuals, I enjoy making money, he enjoys making money, and then we just go about saying, sorry. Okay, so because we both enjoy making money, what we just do is to say, okay, how do we come together now that we are in marriage to put the things on the table and say, what do we do? How are we going to do it? What's priority? What's not priority? What are the things that we want to start doing? What are the things that we're not going to do? And one of the things that we've done, is to know what actually we are bringing from our upbringing. Because here it also talks about how money reflects our upbringing and how it reflects our priorities and our beliefs. And in doing that, we had like some kind of questions that we asked ourselves. We sat down one day and then we asked questions about the kind of things that we believe in our marriage, the kind of things that we believe in growing up, the kind of things that we had, the experiences that we had growing up. And we had about, I think, like 5 of those questions. One of,
Yeah, we had about 5. I think maybe when we are discussing the tools, we might go deep into that.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, but the bedrock is that, your upbringing affects the way you see money, whether or not you like it. So I don't know the age range of the people on the call today, but if you want to cast your mind back to when you were growing up, when many of us had an idea of money and finance even before we started making it. So imagine when you were discussing with your parents about money, their reactions, their comments left a mark on your mind. You did not know. It was an unconscious learning thing. And the thing is that what you learn unconsciously become the program that your life runs on. You might not know. So some people don't know why they cannot charge for their services. Some people don't know why they can't charge reasonable amounts for their services. Some people don't know why they find it difficult to ask for money. Some people don't know why people always owe them. If you sit down and then you look at your background, virtually your financial foundation was laid in your childhood. the kind of school you went, the kind of teachers that taught you, the conversations your parents had with you didn't know, but they affected you. And then you carried that into your adulthood. If you are not careful, you're going to carry it to your children, and then they are going to carry it to their children. So background has a lot to do with what you believe money is. Do you believe money comes easily? Do you believe you have to labor hard before you get a little? Do you believe your services are good? Do you believe you are worthy of money? All those things are laid. The foundation is laid in your child. Yeah. You want to talk a little about your
Okay, so if I want to say, I thought maybe DT wanted to say something. So if I want to say something about my childhood, for example, growing up, I saw my mother, put money everywhere in the house. She had money under her pillow, she had money on the table, there was money in her bag, in her wardrobe, there was money everywhere. And that she runs a business. My father, on the other hand, is a technical person. And after a period of time, I believed, nobody sat me down to say, this is what it is. I just believe that when you run business, you will have a lot of cash to throw around in the house. You will always be able to put cash in different places. Remember that at that time, there was no keeping money in the bank. They kept money majorly in the house. But for me, I thought, oh, that's the conclusion for me. I just made up my mind that, oh, do business and you're going to have a lot of money, And I realized that I didn't even know that that was what was leading me to want to do business, run and say, oh, I have to do business because if you do business, you're going to be wealthy, you're going to be this. And, but that was what was in my background, right? And it's reflected because one of the things that also led to is me being conscious of this business must not slow down. This business has to keep going because I also saw my mother's business slow down at some point. And, all of these decisions are the things that unconsciously are playing, and they all have impact on the kind of conversation that we have in the marriage and the kind of thing. So we sat together, both of us, and we said, okay, what are the things that we have to do? What are the things that we have to do? How do we talk about this through? We are coming from two separate backgrounds. Number one of it is, I have to say, growing up, for me, for example, money felt like something that if you do business, you will have. What does money feel like for you?
Yeah, growing up, so money felt hard to find because I grew up with parents who complained about money. So the first impression I had about money was that, it brought a lot of strife. Because I can remember clearly, how it felt like money was difficult to make. So
I think their network went off. They will be back in a minute. In the meantime, there is a poll that we want to share while we wait for them to come back.
Can you hear?
Can you hear me, please? Can you hear me now?
Okay. Sorry,
Okay, you went off for a bit, but we can hear you.
okay.
Okay, please help me to highlight them once again. But you can go on, please, coach.
All right, I'll keep talking until we're able to put on the camera again. So one of the things for us is realizing that these things are a major challenge. And, because we sat together at that time to have the conversation, we sat down, we said, oh, if this is what I have experienced as an individual in growing up, and this is what he has experienced as an individual growing up, how do we now come together, and find the middle ground and say, this is not what we want to pass to our children, right? Because we don't want to pass it to our children, what do we do? So, can you still hear us, please? Hello?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, what do we do?
We can hear you.
Thank you. Since this is like what we grew up with, what do we do? So, but knowing all of that has started helping us to know that life is not, we're not just going to have it smooth. just because we fell in love and then there's butterfly everywhere. It's not just going to be like that, because we are coming from different backgrounds and we had different experiences. And another question we have asked we asked each other was like, in my house, for example, so in my house, what did money cost for us? So we had about like 5 or 6 questions like that. So for me, for example, I said, in my house growing up, money cost, it made us still secure respect for the person who did not have, because the person who had covered the person who did not have. So growing up for me, the person who had the money, who had liquidity, covered up for the person who didn't have liquidity. So it was some form of respect. It helps us to honor who we should honor, despite the fact that they did not have. That was it for me. So what was it for you?
Yeah, so money cost a lot of arguments for me because it was never enough, so there was always arguments. And then number 2, it caused a kind of maybe like, should I say resentment or some form of disrespect, because when my dad had, there was a way he behaved. Yeah, there was a way he behaved. So he liked to spend at times on us, and then there was a way he behaved to my mom that, you won't like it, because it was like, oh, now I have what you don't have kind of thing. When my mom had, she hid it most of the time. So when my mom had money, she would hide it. When my dad had, he will flaunt it, like maybe to spite. So yeah, that was what money cost at home. And then growing up, I can remember then, for example, when my brother went to school, because we went to different secondary schools, boarding houses, he will come home at times with some extra cash. I'll go to school, I'll not be able to come home with any extra cash. And that was already reflecting too in the way we related her as siblings. So that was what I came into the marriage with. Yeah.
So, one of the things that we did was, so imagine both of us coming from that kind of different backgrounds, and then we want to now just say, oh, it's just all butterflies. And then we're just going to, gloss over what it should be and how it should be. No, we sat together. This is it for me. This is it for you. What is actually ideal? It's not like my own was perfect. Neither was it that his own was perfect, which was why we knew that we needed to go and learn how to manage, and multiply our money. And thank God for Smart Stewards that really helped us, But before we came into Smart Stewards, one of the things was that we were truthful, with each other, saying, this is actually my money language. This is your own money language. But where do we meet each other at the middle? Because money is a major problem in a lot of marriages. And the reason that it has not been a problem for us, despite the fact that we're coming from 2 different backgrounds, is because we chose to learn how to do things the right way in our marriage. Okay.
Thank you so much. That's been very deep, and I appreciate that you are digging deep into the foundation. On this call, we have young people who are single, we have married people, we also have some elderly people too who are also learning. We have people who are in relationship, we have people who have separated. It's just a lot of people coming in to listen to how romance and finance where's the margin point. So we'll be going into the next session in a few minutes, and I'll be asking you some questions as we are discussing what the role of provision, gender roles, any power, and what really motivates your decision making in terms of money, especially with somebody that you love and you are committed to. So we'll be looking at provision first. In a general term, let me ask Coach first. What does true provision mean in today's relationship? Is it purely financial, or is it broader than money when we talk about provision? Because, there are a lot of songs. I was discussing with TK before the meeting started that, some they'll say no romance without money. If there's this secular song that says, if you don't get money, hide yourself. So when we talk about provision, does provision just means purely financial, or is it broader than money in relationship?
Okay, so let me talk about it from I'm going to talk about it from, let me say, the functional aspect and maybe from the realistic aspects, considering the fact that, I work in an industry where you work with children, and then a child is a reflection of the society and the family. So you're working with a teenager, for example, you have interactions with them, you already know where they are coming from, you know how the blend of the society and the family has impacted that child. So now, provision ideally should be an all-encompassing thing. So in the home, let's say in a traditional home, you expect the husband to be the one who provides for the family. The ideal thing is that the husband provides money, leadership, and direction. Because if the emphasis is only on the money and the leadership is gone, the direction is gone, the money becomes useless. That's the truth. So let's even now assume that as a man, you give all the money your child needs to your child, but that child doesn't have the right leadership. What happens is that they end up wasting the entire thing. They end up putting you in trouble. So money becomes like a sort of trauma for them. But we live in a society where there's a lot of emphasis on money. And the reason why there's this lot of emphasis is because the poverty rate in our society is very high. So when the poverty rate is high, automatically your attention is on what you believe you don't have. And you believe you don't have the money. So the money becomes a master that determines everything. However, so there's this, so that it becomes like a web. You get the money because there is nothing to sustain it, you lose it. And then you are looking for the money again. You get it because there's nothing to sustain it, you lose it. So it becomes a cycle. It becomes a cycle in a society. So that is why it is important when we are talking about provision to make it all-encompassing for the society to be functional. However, if you look at what is happening right now, people are talking about ability to provide finance, and that is more and more becoming what determines who a man is in the home, or who the provider is in the home. But it shouldn't be. Probably for the sake of this webinar, we might say, okay, the generality of people here might be thinking more of the finances, really, for us to be realistic. So there's an ideal situation, there's a realistic situation. So most people here might be talking about ability to provide financially. However, by the time the finance comes, please don't let us lose sight of those things that make the finance meaningful, right? They make the finance meaningful. My finance is crucial. It's very important to make the finance meaningful. And I believe strongly that every aspect should be well taken care of. Yeah, thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did, actually. It even felt like you've seen my question to see what I wanted to ask next. Our next question is that if one partner earns significantly more, should that automatically influence leadership or decision-making power? Let me create a scenario. For instance, maybe we see a lot online. My husband is earning 50,000, his wife is earning 300,000, and then they want to buy something that is maybe 250. And then they say, okay, because we earn 300, bring 200, I'll add the 50 that I have. And people say, no, you don't have money, you can't make that decision. So if one is earning significantly more than the other, should that influence leadership and decision-making power in the home? Yoruba people has very funny culture. They will say, Olowo. So it is the person that has money. And then, in family meetings, they will say, if you don't have money, go and sit in the corner, you can't talk. So in an ideal relationship that is going into marriage or is already in a marriage, or should who earns more influence the leadership and decision making? Let's go.
I think you should.
So,
Jumoke, answer that question first. Since
thank
Mr.
you.
Kenya has answered me first.
So growing up, I've always believed in individualism, right? Knowing that, I mean, you should make your money and your spouse should make his or her money. So and that's also the color for me, generally speaking. Individually, let's live as individual. I am Olajumoke, regardless of the fact that I am married to Sheye. Sheye is also Sheye, right? Even though we have come together and we have become one in marriage, according to what we believe. Now, when we say ideal marriage, it's quite relative because these days, we almost don't even know what is ideal any longer because, I mean, there's a lot of different opinion and everything everywhere. But for us, I don't believe, but I personally don't believe that if we say we're together, the person who has the money should be the one to call the shots. I don't agree to that. And the reason why I don't agree is because if we say we are one, then we should be able to come together, except your partner now has a problem. Now, remember that when we were talking earlier, we had spoken about situation where we sat together to say, this is my own issue. This is your own issue. What do we do? What is true? What should be the right thing for us to do? And we sat down together and we decided, okay, our home is going to be that we are working together as a people. And I mean, in the early days of our marriage, everything is like that we are working together, everything, every single amount of money, even today now, I know every single amount of money that you have. But one of the things I realized that initially did for us was that I could not surprise my husband. I want to buy him something, but he knows all the money that I have. If I take out of that money, then even I'm like, and I also would like surprises. Surprise me, I beg. I don't want to. So that made me to then start thinking, if I show him all my money, I will not be able to take out money one day and say, no, I want to just treat him to a surprise. And then we now started to come back to the table to say, okay, where do we draw the line and have individualism, even though we have a marriage, right? So we created that part where you have your salary or you have your own money. We have our money, right? But when it comes to, we need to buy something or we need to do something, one person is not saying, I have the more money or you have the less money. We are making a family decision. And when it's a family decision, it is one decision. It's not, because I have more money. Because I can as well just say, we cannot, what I have is 50,000 naira. Since you also have 50,000 naira, we both have 50,000 naira. I don't think that would be a sin. Since that is what we both agree that we can give. But that I will not be the one to call the shot and say, because I have more money, then I'm going to go ahead and just buy what we don't want to buy, or I'm not going to give more. I don't understand that balance in these days. It's crazy out there, right now. I don't understand that. But what I want to say is, by the time because you will know your partner, it is important to know. My own case is, don't be a pest on the other party. Don't be a pest. Don't be don't be heavy. Don't rest on somebody and press them. Don't press them. Just if we're all fair and kind, if marriage is what we said it would be when we were dating, if we are all truthful, both truthful, I don't think all of this conversation will be existing, because I will know that this is just a season where this partner is not able to do that. And then, except it has now been something that has become a habit, because we know that as human beings, it is easy, it is very possible for all of us to get carried away. My husband is spoiling me and spoiling me and spoiling me. I'm like, I beg, continue. And I don't want to lift a finger any longer. Oh, the wife is taking care of the house and taking care of the house and taking care of the house. And all of a sudden, the husband begins to feel, she will sort it out, and then he folds his hands, it becomes useless, and then things now there's now resentment. So as long as individually we keep our part, we keep our own end, we make money, because again, we're working towards the same goal. If the goal is one, I don't think we will be having this conversation in the first place. My husband is somebody that believes that he should take it, protect, preserve, do all of that. I also agree, I have had, it was difficult, but I had to, submit to that. I will take care of you. Just let me take care of you. Because for me, for a long time, I took care of myself. And I didn't think that I was going to need to wait for anybody to take care of me, right? But when I met a man who said, I'm going to take care of you, why not? All of me, carry it and let me chop your money, But at the end of the day, when I know that I have a kind husband, if anything is, if he doesn't have at a particular point, I am definitely going to say, okay, take my money, because it is our home.
Can I share an experience? Now, I'm sure my wife will not mind that I'm talking about this. The reason is because, a lot of young people are here, and then a lot of things happen. When we got married, actually, before we got married, I had a very nasty experience. I was let out, what do you call it now, for where I was working. And then, for a while, I didn't earn money. And although, and then given my background, where I was coming from, my money story, it was difficult for me to be married and then be expecting a woman to take care of me. It was difficult. And, I was out of job for a while. And it forced me to get things. I took offers that I was never supposed to have taken because I just couldn't imagine. And when things were, because I came from a place, everything in my mind was like the man should provide for the family. Even when I started earning, I didn't have enough because my wife she had been in business for a while. She was always having cash. My own money wasn't flowing anymore. When it started flowing, it was small. But it took a while for me to get to that point to say, you know what, see this thing as a phase that will pass. It took a while. There were times that I hindered the home from doing some things because I couldn't finance the entire thing. For example, like where we lived, I said, you know what, this is the way I can pay the rent for now. And then at that time, my wife would say, you know what, I'll contribute, let's support, let's push. It took a while for me to get to that point. So in case maybe somebody just getting married and then you are there, it's just for you to, things will always turn around. And like you said, don't be a pest to the other person. Know that it's a phase, just keep stepping up, keep stepping up. So for me to evolve back to what I had in mind, to being able to provide for my family and being able to provide and provide something very, very decent for my family, it took me a while. But probably because, I just committed to adding something to myself one day at a time, I was able to get there. But would you say because somebody earns more than the other, now the person begins to lord it over the other? No, because it's temporal, right? Even if it's the man that is lording it over the wife, it's temporal. A time will come that the children will look back and then they will be like, why did my dad treat my mom like this? It might bring up some resentment, even if the situation doesn't change. Let's say the man keeps being the one providing throughout lifetime. The children are going to ask questions someday. And it's possible something changes. How will it look like? Let's just see money as it's important, but it's a tool, right? It's a tool. And we are together, right? And that's why I don't think children have a business getting married, There's a little level of maturity that people get to.
That is required.
They want to
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. If one earns significantly more, should not lord it to one, and whoever is not earning should not leave it to one person to just be doing it since you are able to. My third question is on gender roles. And I also want to celebrate people who are watching us on YouTube. The energy in that house is very, very high. Thank you, YouTube gang. We celebrate you, we see you. So my third question is that are traditional gender roles still relevant in modern relationships? Or should roles be fully negotiated based on capacity? Now, I'm asking this because, they will say, oh, a woman's place is in the kitchen. And that story that trended, that was it last year or year before the last, on Twitter, when lady said that she woke up 4:30 to go and cook for her husband, and people were saying, "Yeah, are you a slave? You cannot sleep." And they say, he's working, so I must cook for him. So our traditional gender roles still relevant in modern relationship. And there's some ladies, women earn these days, or like back in the days when women are supposed to just be in the house and they are waiting for daddy to bring money for matches, for salt, for other things. Now everybody is earning an income. So are those traditional gender roles still relevant in our relationship these days? Or should we say, oh, since you cannot bring money, go into the kitchen and go and cook. At least you will do something. So that's my question. So are those gender roles still relevant, even
Well,
when finance
um,
is involved now?
I don't see them as related. And the reason why I say I don't see them as related is because if you come to our house, people will say, she's a sports wife. I am a sports wife. So
Yes.
I am very sports. And when I say I'm sports, I mean there is no gender role in my house. And my children will know I have girls, and they are not going to grow up thinking, oh, it is the girl's duty to be in the kitchen, because they've seen their father cook for them many, many times, maybe more than their mother has done for them. They've seen their mother also cook for them, have driven them, their dad has driven them. I mean, we've done different things. We do what the family is supposed to do. We do things that is one. I mean, when we first got married, my father one day was angry with me, that why is your husband the one cooking for you? And imagine it was my own father that was angry that my husband was taking care of me in a way that is not regular. I don't know how to, in quotes, in a way that is not acceptable by society. Society speaking, okay, you are supposed to be the wife and you are supposed to.
So,
So even when it is difficult, even when I was pregnant, I mean, I remember when I first got married, all those things. Oh, before your husband come home, be finish cooking and all of that. And one day, I had done pounded yam, and my husband came up and he was like, "Why would you stress yourself like this? Why will you do this?" Like, I mean, he literally banned me and said, "Don't you ever pound yam for me again, because I just don't see that thing is a lot of stress. It's not worth it." And me, I was doing good wife, My husband is coming, let me cook. But now, I'm like, now sometimes I'm looking at him and saying, what's for dinner? So if we are talking about people who say, oh, what's gender, or maybe we are not the right couple to ask, because there is no, oh, this is for you because you're a woman, this is for you because you are a man in this home. But what is the fact that my husband is supposed to lead. That is, in fact, as a woman, being a very independent person that I am by temperament, I deliberately, ask my husband. It's not that I even deliberately, I desire leadership. It's an unconscious thing for me, even though, because I'm a leader in a lot of spaces. But at home, I just want to be a baby. Carry us and say, let's go. Just lead me, you understand? Just lead me on anything. And that's what it has been for us. So the gender role of a woman belongs in the kitchen. Nah, we don't understand that language as far as my family is concerned. Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely. I love it. You are getting everything right. And I believe that our listeners are also, people on this call are also learning,
Yeah,
especially when it comes to
something.
what we're talking about. In a financially pressured season, who should carry the, you already said there are no gender roles anyway. Who should carry the greater responsibility? The higher earner, the perceived head, of both equally? I think I can answer that question from listening to you for the last 1 hour, about now. But still, talk to us about when there are pressure, financial pressure. Mr. Shaya already mentioned it, that these things are temporal. They are not going to be like that forever. And the way you react in the time of pressure is going to reflect on the people that are watching, especially the children you are raising. So
Yeah.
in the financially pressured season, who should carry the greater responsibility? I remember growing up, we never knew who was paying school fees in my home. We just know that school fees were being paid until we grew up and I saw my mom's pay slip. And I was like, what? Is this what you are earning every month? How did you send 5 people to the university? And she just looked at me and she was just smiling. Between her and my dad, we didn't really know what was happening. We just know that school fees, and then school fees is paid. Between them, it was now that we are older, that we know the pressure and everything that was going on and what they were doing, the sacrifices and everything. So in such a situation where there are financially pressured period in a couple, in a relationship, who should carry the great responsibility? Is it the person who earns more or both of them equally?
Yeah, so I believe strongly when we talk about financial pressure, we also need to know where it is coming from. So is it a necessity? Is it something that is not particularly necessary that we're just bringing on ourselves? So for me, in my family, like when we're starting out, all those things of balance in the home, you do 50, I bring 50. When we're coming, I told my wife, I said, I don't believe in balance, right? I didn't come from a regular background, but I knew enough not to believe in balance in the home. No, I believe in harmony. If you can do everything and do it from the bottom of your heart, do it. But you see, there's still this traditional thing inside me as a person that I believe it is the man that should take care of the family. Despite the fact that we stay harmony, we come together, we put funds together, if my wife has to drop money for something, I make sure I refund her. And at times, it causes issues. Why you refunding? It's just something that, I don't know, if I don't want to, maybe it's a trauma thing I'm bringing from where I'm coming from, or I just chose not to really deal with that because I feel it's the ideal thing. So I feel that if there's any pressure, whether the money is coming from the wife or the husband, or whether they are putting funds together, I believe strongly that the husband should be at the forefront and take complete responsibility for the finance in the home. So the responsibility might be providing it, negotiating with the wife to provide for a short while and a refund. But I believe strongly it's the man's thing. My wife and I will still talk about it like, oh, let me do that. And I say, no, don't worry. I will handle this. And if I have to lean on her for something and then she contributes, I'll tell her by this time I'm going to refund you. Okay, I'll tell her by this time I'm going to refund you. But I feel strongly that the greater responsibility for finance in the home should be handled by the man. I believe strongly. And even when you look at the Bible, yeah.
That's not for me. Is it from them or from me? The network?
I believe it's from them.
Oh, okay. If you have questions, please, let's put our questions into the chat room. We're going to take questions once they are back. I believe that we are learning, we are getting something. If please, okay, they are back. All right. So please continue. We can't hear you yet.
I
No
could not
sound for
unmute. Okay,
now.
I can unmute now.
Yes, good.
Okay.
Yes, please. Please go
So I
ahead.
believe that the man should take leadership for it. Even if the money is not coming from him, the direction through which the money will come, I believe it should come from him. That is my position. You still agree with me, right?
So for I mean,
Because you have something else.
yeah, because it's also one of the things that I eventually, again, like I mentioned earlier, that it was difficult for me to not to accept initially how to be taken care of, because I'm not going to wait for you I know how to figure my thing out. And I believe that as individual, we should all be like that. If you are a woman, you are here and you are not yet married, don't go and marry and be thinking that you want somebody to come and be taking care of you, or you want to marry because you want to escape poverty. Fix your poverty. And then if his own comes, it becomes an addition. In fact, I tell myself, like, I don't have any excuses because I'm being honest right here. I don't know my children's school fees, except maybe when we are discussing it at the beginning of the term, or maybe somebody has to mention it, because my husband gets everything sorted. The school fees, the key things, every single thing is sorted. So nobody should come and ask me for money, but I have my own money. I'm saying all of that to say, I mean, I'm like, I should be really rich because all this money, I'm not spending on rent, I'm not spending on school fees, I'm not spending on car, I'm not, when they say, oh, fuel is 1,000 something, the only thing hey, my factory, that's the only thing I am thinking in my head, that, hey, factory, because I'm not thinking how much is fuel for the car, because so like he said, every single thing he takes care of. I mean, when people, I remember even growing up, my father borrowed money from my mother, which is normal. And many of them, he will say, he didn't pay me back, or he didn't pay me back. Not my husband. My husband pays back if he says, give me this money till next week. By that next week, he's going to pay me. If he hasn't paid, he's going to say, oh, okay, I'll pay you by this time. I remember an instance where, I mean, at that time, he was working on the island and he would come home really late. So sometimes like, oh, we need to, I need to really get a freezer. I wanted freezer and he was like, give me till the end of the month. Me, I get paid many times in a month. He get paid once a month. And I just went ahead to say, before this man come back from work today, I am going to go and buy this freezer. And I went ahead and I bought the freezer and I brought the freezer home. When he came back, he just took the receipt and said, okay, I'll give you back next week. And the end of the month came, I just saw a lot. Sometimes I would have forgotten how much. And I'm not out of pressure. I don't think he's doing it out of pressure. He's doing it out of his own belief. And I'm saying that to say, as a man here also, take responsibility. If you don't say because this person is doing it, then let her just continue. I think that, like what I said earlier, let's be fair. Let's work with value, with respect, with self-respect to yourself. I can say boldly that my husband is not going to take advantage of me because over time he has not done it. If he says, oh, I'm going to give you the money back, he will give me. If he says, oh, borrow me money, he will give me back. He will give me back. And like I mentioned, number one, don't be you yourself, have money. Have money. That one is very important because I'm a human being. I don't understand why I should be less. I understand submission in marriage, but what I mean is I should be able to have my own money, take care of my own every single thing. If I have 2 children, I should be able to take care of my 2 children if my husband is not going to be there. If he's there, amazing. I'm going to submit. Since I have somebody who says I'm a leader, I'm taking care of the lead, I am going to, submit to my husband. But in cases where, God forbid, anything happens, he's out of job, something happens to his business, even so for some people, in case of death, we should be able to do things that we can put together, that life will not end, because one part of the family left. So that's my own take on this conversation. This are you there? Okay, like a network to cut out. CK, you want to say something? Okay.
Thank you very much, Ma. Just to wait for the TF. I've learned so much. To follow up on the questions, I have a particular question. How do you
Can you
let
hear me?
go of
1 minute,
okay,
please,
she's back.
before we.
She's back.
Yes, I'm back. Thank you. 1 minute before we take questions. The next session is for us taking questions from audience, and CK is going to handle that. So please drop your questions in the chat room. right now. But before then, we have just one last question for this session. Then we'll take the practical questions I will check YouTube, and CK will check Zoom, and then she will handle the moderation of that session. But the last question is about pride. I want to ask, for money, is pride the reason why people don't discuss their money issues before marriage? I see a lot of my young smart starters on this call, and that's why I'm asking this question. People will get into relationship and they don't say, oh, this is how much I have. There was a story that trended online of a man who refused to marry a lady because she had a lot of bank loans and she didn't disclose it. Is pride the reason? What are the reasons why people hide what they have, or they do fake life? Let me use that word now. So while they are answering this question, please let's drop our questions in the comment section. Thank you.
I won't take that first.
Oh, okay. So why do people not disclose when they are earning? Now, different things. However, it is we need to know that for every one of us, we have some things that we are bringing from our childhood. Everybody. And if you are not careful, those things determine how we see life. Because one thing your child will do for you, aside the fact that it determines the program that directs your life, it also gives you the perspective that colors the way you see life. That's the truth. So when you see a man who says, I'm not going to marry someone because I don't know what you are earning, or I want to marry someone, I don't want them to know what I'm earning, a lot of things come into play. Lack of trust. So they don't trust each other. And if you don't trust each other, I don't know what you are doing getting married. I don't know. The reason is because if only we had an idea of the impact of what these things will have on ourselves, on the children we are going to raise, we will make better decisions. If you start seeing yourself as an individual, you're not an individual, you're a generation. That's the truth. Because you have children. Whatever you are bringing into your marriage, you are passing it on to your children. There are several things you do, there are several beliefs you have that you don't even know how you got them. In fact, some of them, you don't even know you have those beliefs until something comes up to question those beliefs. And then you are wondering, why am I thinking this? Why am I reacting this way? It's because there are lots of things in your background that you have not been able to deal with. So now, it shouldn't be a point of conversation that two people want to get married, and then they are hiding something as I don't want to say trivial, but as something, a tool like money. I don't think it is an ideal thing at all. If you can't disclose what you have, if you can't have conversations around what you have, then you don't have a business getting married. There's something my wife was saying about surprises. That was one challenge we had when we got married. We couldn't surprise ourselves. But even at that time, when we said, okay, you know what, let's be keeping money together here so that we can still have some individual monies, she had a very good idea of what I was earning. In fact, she knew, because at that time, I was a fixed earner. I was a fixed income earner, right? And I had a good idea of what she was earning. So when I came into her workshop and I saw 5 dresses, I could calculate, okay, she made a dress for this amount. So this is how much she's having, things like that. So it gave us that idea. And so it's very important that we are open enough to have certain kinds of conversations in our marriage. I hope you heard me. Sorry about the lights.
Sorry.
Yes. Wow, that's so good. That's so good. So there shouldn't be any time that you must hide what you earn. CK, I want you to take it up from here. And the question I'm seeing here is even from you yourself. So ask your question and then you ask other questions in the background. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you so much, Coach Jumoke and Mr. Yagbele. So my question is, at what point do you tell your partner in a relationship, you're not married, you've not really talked about when you want to get married? Yes, you've talked about marriage, but not set any date. At what point do you then tell your partner how much you earn, both ways?
At what point? So, for us, how did it work? It worked as knowing little things. You know, I think one of the challenges is that people see relationship as they don't see it from a perspective of we are testing the market. I'm window shopping, you know. I want to see if I can marry you. Because once I see anything like this and I'll carry my leg. I personally had like 4 relationships before my husband. And why did I marry any of them? Because they looked like they were going to be sensible initially, and then when I realized that this one won't work, oh, I ran, you know. And that's very important to, you know, so it should be something that we deliberately do, that you are watching out for how this person how this person behaves around money. One of the first things I noticed initially when we were dating was when we would go to eatery. My husband would say, let's go to Mr. Biggs. And then I remember we go to Mr. Biggs. And this man would buy me snacks, their meat pie and all of those things. And he buy me snack and drink, and he will not eat anything. He will sit in front of me, not taking anything. I was like, which kind thing is this? Why? He wants to spend all that he has, you know, on me. He has 100 naira, for example. It's like, you are my priority. I cannot, I know what I have cannot buy for both of us, but I will give you everything. Those things were sending message, even though I didn't like it. I'm like, why would somebody not take care of himself? What kind of person is this? Hey, you better take care of yourself. Me, I don't say you, I'll take care of myself. But if I have money, I'll not share with you. But we do it 50-50. I'm going to buy a drink. Both of us will share. I believed in that share, but he believes in, oh, I'm going to take care of you. So I began to notice those little things, and then we sat down to start asking real conversations, having hard conversations. Even before we started dating, I started to ask questions because my husband looks like SU. In fact, the question I started asking initially was about sex. Oh, what do you believe about this? What do you believe about that? You know, and because I was asking all of those kind of questions, he already knew that because I wanted to, I was gathering data. I'm like, okay, what does this guy believe about money? What does he believe? But for you to be able to do that, you also have to have self-aware. You also personally need to be self-aware enough to know, okay, this is my own perspective and view. What is his own perspective and view? If you don't have that, you won't be able to ask questions. You know, so that's my belief. If you are not able to ask the question, it's because you haven't really, you are not self-aware enough. Because if you are self-aware enough, you will be looking for data. As you are looking for data, you will be making something, you will be doing something with the data. There's a guy that he was asking me out almost at the same time as when my husband was asking me out. I didn't date that guy. One major reason, he came to me, we had maybe like an argument after a chit chat one evening, and he left. And he never said, oh, you were angry. We didn't say he was angry. He still smiled and went home. And then about 1 week later, he came to say, oh, you did this last week Saturday. For me, that was it. That is the singular reason. You know, of course, there's another thing. His mother used to curse. He was our neighbor. So I used to hear the mother shout and curse. I was like, I'm not going to this family. But other than that, the major thing for him, personally as a person, was the fact that he could not face me to have a hard conversation. And because I know I would not be able to, I don't like that. And I know that is not something I want to deal with. So I didn't marry him because of that.
We'll continue taking the question, but in the meantime, there's a poll that we would like you, if you're on this call, to take. Coach has sent 5 books from the beginning of this year, 3 books. If you do not have those books, kindly go ahead and get them. CK, can you please put the bounty link on? I've launched the poll now, so I'm waiting for our answer. Please take on the next question while people are voting. We have less than 30 minutes for the poll.
Thank you
And
for
then
that well-detailed
I wanted
answer,
to
ma'am.
also add, CK, that if what somebody says, because somebody knows you are going to date you, they are dating you, they want to marry you, and they are giving you things like, they are saying things, but they are behaving in another way. You know, those are people should not gather only data on what somebody is saying. You should also gather data on what they are doing. So
Yes, ma'am.
saying A, but when you go out together, it's doing B. You are adding everything together. If this guy say A and is doing B, something is missing somewhere. And yeah, those conversations are really important.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Someone asked a question here. Rebecca said, as a female, is it advisable to date someone you earn more than? And what can you look out for in a man to go ahead in marrying him despite earning more than him?
You want to answer?
She said, as a female.
Okay, as a female.
Yes, as a female. Coach, this is for you, ma'am.
Okay, please read it again. Is it
Should I take it
advisable to
again?
marry
Okay.
somebody?
As a female, is it advisable to date someone you earn more than? And what can you look out for in a man to go ahead in marrying him despite earning more than him? I know you've slightly answered the second part, but yeah.
Yeah, so as a is it advisable? Like I said, is you are gathering data. Date, if you say date is just to gather, to let me know if this guy actually, see, the truth is that everybody, if you look at the Bible, even Abraham said, go and pick somebody from my mother's tribe, for my son, because he knows that there's something valuable in that place. The reason a man is coming to you, or the reason a lady is looking at you, is because they are seeing value. They're like, this person, everybody is being calculative. Despite the fact that we say, oh, I love him. But the love is also the sense. The rap will say, as we are crying, we used to see road. So as we are falling in love, let's open our eyes and be seen. Because what that
Yeah.
means is that you are saying, oh, okay, this guy, is he here for my money? And how will I know if he's here for my money or not? Is pretend on some things, calculate for some things because you are gathering data. Because you are trying to, if somebody meets you and is quickly borrowing money from you, in the first 3 months of you guys are dating, now my mother kiniko and is asking you for money, there's a problem. How is he dealing with his own personal development? How open-minded is he? There are a lot of things to look out for before you say you want to marry somebody at the end of the day. You are looking at the core thing is the beliefs. What does he believe? Do they have value? Does he have my value? Do we align on value? But you cannot say we align on value if you don't know your own values. So what are your own value system? What are the things that you don't want to compromise on in your life? Your own, you start from maybe your relationship with God. You're talking about, learning, self-development. Does he believe in attending webinars? There are guys you can never find them in self-development classes. There are people who feel church is just scam, and they put everybody together does it put everybody together in the same pole? Does it say, oh, this tribe, they are all evil? Or does it see people as individual that he can have conversation? Is he open-minded? Do you understand? And then when you look at for those values, especially value around communication, does it talk? Does it address difficult conversation, or is it deflective? When you say A and he doesn't want to, does he run away from it? Does he run away from the truth, or he actually stays to have hard conversation? Is he willing to learn? They'll say, is it teachable? One of the more things that personally I would say for me has worked for me is because I know that if I am able to have conversation with my husband and say, this thing is like this, I think it should be like this, and he sees it, he's able to see it from my perspective, he will consciously work on it. Consciously read a book that addresses it. Consciously take a course that address that thing consciously. You know, when I say, oh, this is actually how I like this thing, you know, he will consciously begin to walk around it. Is your person that kind of a person? Or is just marry me, come and be submissive. In fact, let there be opinion, sorry. Mr. O wants to say something, but let there be opinion that you want to, controversial things that you want to hear his view. Does he see women as, or he takes care of you and then he doesn't take care of other women? In fact, one of the things I first fought my husband over initially when we started dating is how he helps everybody. He's just a kind person. So because he's a kind person, he helps everybody around. He sees somebody carrying heavy things, he carries it for them. It's not only me. He doesn't carry something heavy for only me. He does it for other people. So it makes me know that, okay, this person is just kind.
Although she said, let me just share, let me say something. You see, I don't think it's a big deal if you are any more than the person you want to marry. But is that person capable of taking care of the family you want to form? When my wife and I were dating, she was any more than me. I didn't really have, how much did I have? I didn't have money at that time at all. I did not. Like when we were in school, I did not have money. Like I did not. I was doing home lessons. How much were they paying us at that time? She was already paying 5,000. They feel like 500 naira per month. Like, so she was already getting clothes in school, making clothes for her friends. She was having cash. So, but it wasn't so much of a problem. But it becomes a problem when the man has a tendency to abandon responsibilities to the woman. The woman will start resenting. That is when it becomes a problem. So if the man is responsible and is on a growth journey, he doesn't need to compete and say, I want to earn more than my wife, but he needs to say, I need to provide for my family. Provide well. I don't care whether my wife earns more than me, but I provide and I make sure I take care of my family. She can earn more than me, she likes, it's fine. But I provide for my family. That's it.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you so much.
My provider.
Before we go to the question from Bright from Zambia, Bright, thank you for joining us all the way from Zambia. We have some questions on YouTube. And one of them says, what can you say? These people, they are lovers on YouTube. What can you say about your man, your spouse, man, not believing in or celebrating you during Valentine's Day? His reason, Valentine's Day is not my thing. And he also talks about budgeting and all. She's saying, I'm not entitled at all. I just feel it's a way of making each other special and celebrated in the season of love. There's an additional question there. So what do you say to that when the man is not celebrating you? And then there's another question on YouTube, so you can take it together. Says, what can you say about a guy who you gift? You surprise him and all, but in return, he doesn't replicate over time.
What are you doing with him?
Okay. Those are questions on YouTube for you, please.
No, let me tell you the truth. Personally, I'm not a Valentine's person. Now, before I met my wife, I never celebrated my birthday. My wife bought me my first birthday cake when I was 26 years old. That was the first time I had a birthday cake in my life, 26, right? So, but do I celebrate Valentine's now? Yes, I do. Do I celebrate birthdays for her? Yes, I do. You see, you can't afford to be selfish because it's not about you, and that is the truth. It's not about you. Left to me, you see, to me, I will not celebrate birthday. I will not celebrate Valentine. I will not celebrate Christmas. I will not celebrate because I just let me be. Just let me be. But when I met my wife, I saw somebody who has always celebrated birthday every year. Like she'll tell me, "Oh, this is my birthday. This is what I'm doing. I'm making hair for my birthday." I'm like, "Are you serious? Like making hair for birthday? Who has the time?" But I had to say, "Okay, fine. This is what you want. I'll do it for you." I don't think I've ever asked her for a birthday gift before. Before till now, I don't think so. I don't think I've done that because maybe I've not really warmed up to all of those things. But if she gives it to me, I'll take it, right? If she gives me Valentine's gift tomorrow now, right? I'll take it. Am I celebrating Valentine's for her tomorrow? Yes, I am. Not because I believe it, but because she wants it and it means a lot to her. So look beyond yourself in love. And if you are dating someone who is not willing to look beyond himself when you are not yet married, that person will take you for granted when you are married. Because marriage doesn't change people. Going to the altar doesn't change people. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You know, it's just a day that you mark, like your wedding day is a day you mark. It doesn't change people. So somebody that is taking you for granted now, when you get married, he will take you for granted, actually. Someone who will say, why won't they celebrate a Valentine if you want Valentine now? It's so trivial. That person will take your feelings for a ride. Not because they want to do that, but because that's how they are programmed. And if you complain about it, they'll say you are saying too much. That's the truth, because they can't see it. That's their programming. So if it's something that means a lot to you and you are not married, yes, you can just as well take a walk, because that thing might make you resent the guy. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
CK, can you take the question on Zoom? I think she's out. Okay, let me take the question on
Yes,
Zoom.
ma'am. I'm here. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, please. Take
Yes, thank
question.
you. Bright, thank you for the question. Bright says, how often did the both of you have financial conversations before marriage? That's one. And what practical parameters did you put in place to bridge the gaps in the process of growth? That's two. Then lastly, how were you able to give each other feedback in growing to see your new money values as a couple?
Oh, so intelligent. I like it.
I'm listening to your. In fact, I'm clapping for Bright. Please go ahead.
So the first question, how often did we talk about it before we got married? I'm a hard conversation person. What I don't know how to do that I'm still learning is small talk, how to just have random gist. I don't know. And if you want to do anything, I love something that is doing something to my brain. So I'm always very stimulated by what I am learning and what I want to. So when I'm thinking about something, I bring it up to my spouse. I'm a conversation person. So, if you can get into my head, don't worry, we can marry. I believe that's one of the things that made me marry my husband, because he wasn't afraid of having those very intelligent conversations. I didn't know CSA is on this call. So, so I was always having that conversation. This happened. What do you think? What would it be for you? And then he will share his own opinion, and I'll be like, but I don't agree. But what if it's like this? But what if it's like that? So we had those conversations continuously at the level of what we knew at that time. Because what did I know than what we were learning in church and what we were seeing around, and realizing that we were about to get married when we were doing premarital counseling and they were talking about finances. My husband was like, I'm going to take care of our home. I'm going to be the husband. I'm like, okay, as long as you will not say I should not do my work, as long as I can own my own money, that's fine. So we had those conversations. I love hard conversations a lot. When I say hard conversations, it doesn't mean that it's causing fight. I mean intelligent conversations. It's a thing for me, and I could not have married somebody who is afraid of having serious conversations. So yeah, that's part one. So the other part.
Yeah, he said, how did we manage our growth? That's a very, very important question. You see, at every point before we got married and even after marriage, we had coaches. That's the truth. Like I can remember then before we got married, we were very close to our pastor. We were always gisting and talking. And one of the major things we talked about money at that time was that I had a challenge with my wife then. She'll have money, she'll be free to spend it. I couldn't imagine somebody free to spend money, because I would say, no, this one that God has provided for you, when do you know that another one will come? Come on, hold on tight to it. But then she just feel, come on, another one will come. So we had that. But we were always going to our pastor at that time. We'll have conversations. And then that relationship helped us.
It helps us manage our growth, because the truth is, if you are inside something, you can't be self-aware by yourself. It is not possible. You need to have a community. Now, when we got married, fine, our finances was quite open and all of that. And that's one reason why I told her when she came in contact with Coach Yola, I said, you have to be in Smart Steward. Because the first task she did when she got into Smart Steward was that he said, don't spend money for 30 days. She told me, when she told me, in my mind, I said, you are coming back in 2 days to say, Shay, you know, I really tried, bro. I really tried, but I couldn't do it. But do you know, my wife did not spend cash. She had cash with her. She didn't spend cash for 30 days. And then she said she was going to take it on to 60 days. She did not spend cash for 60 days. I said, whoever has done this to you, whoever has done this for you, whoever, you need to be everywhere that person is. Because I just love, one thing that has helped us is that accountability. There's always somebody. There's always somebody who has gone a step ahead and who can always guide us on the next way to go. So that thing helped us. That's number one. Another thing was that we are very high on goals. We are very high on goals. So we set goals a lot. And then when we set goals, we talk about where we are, where we want to be, how do we want to get there. So we sit and then we discuss with ourselves. Oh, this was what we wanted to do. We can't do it. This is what happened. Maybe you are the one that didn't do what you were supposed to do. I was the one that didn't do what I was supposed to do. Or something. There was always that conversation. At times, we have that conversations, we don't quite smile. But at the end of the day, we still smile, and then the lesson has been learned, right? So, but community is important. Community is extremely important. Having a coach, somebody who has done what you want to do, and you are positioned to learn from that person is extremely, extremely important. For most of us, the reason why we are struggling is because we don't have somebody. If you have somebody who has done what you are doing, and the person is advising you, you are following the person's advice, and it's not possible for you not to achieve what you want to achieve. It's not possible. Like, it's not possible. When my wife joined Smart World, it wasn't possible for her not to be able to manage money. It wasn't possible because she was in a community. She was with someone who had done this, who kept doing it. So it wasn't possible. Like, it wasn't possible. And that's why all of us came in. My children started attending juniors, stewards, and all of that. I started coming for Smart World conferences and all, because it just wasn't possible for us to be in that kind of community, under that kind of guidance, and not achieve financial goals. So that's quite practical.
What's the
Thank
third thing?
you so much for- Yeah, the third thing he said was that how are you able to give feedback to each other? I think Mr. Sheye has answered that in terms of the growth and you working together as one. Thank you so much for bringing that. In our poll, we realized we have a lot of newbies on this call. If you are just joining us, and this is your first time of attending a Smart Stewards webinar, can you just indicate so that we can serve the e-puff to you? We have a lot of new people who have not heard about Mina, people who have not heard about Wealthy, people who don't know Koshola Adeshaki on this call. So for the last point that Mr. Shaya raised, he talked about joining the community, Smart Stewards community, and now it's really helped him and his wife. And to take us further in this, I will call on our product manager, Emmanuel, to come and tell you how romance and money can really marry each other in one of our biggest offering that we have in Smart Stewards, which is called Mina. So, EA, are you on this call? I know I've seen you around somewhere. Yes, I can see you. Can you please, okay, can you kindly unmute EA so he can speak? Okay, we still have some more questions, but we'll take all the questions certainly. But I want to talk to you about how you can get better with your money, just like the Ayat delays. EA, please. Sige, can you spotlight him, please?
Can you
EA is
hear me?
out. Yes, I
Is
can.
he out?
I think his network is faulty. He's out.
He's giving me a thumbs up, or is that rude?
No, EA is not here at the moment.
Are you
Okay,
sure?
so
I'm looking at him right in front of me here, and he's giving a thumbs up. Please
I can't
kindly
see. Oh,
stop
okay.
typing and ask
Okay,
him to
I've
unmute.
seen him. Yes, you can unmute EA.
I'm here. Good evening,
Oh,
All
everyone.
okay.
right. Thank you,
Can I
EA.
turn on my
You take
video?
the floor. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, lovers, couples, friends, and besties. It's nice to have you all here. The conversation has been doing me sweet and bitter. Let me call it that. One part is sweet, one part is not so cool. But regardless, I believe that we've all been able to learn one or two things here. But like we say in romance, when money enter, love is sweeter, right? Uh, Aside so many other things, money is part of those things that really oils the wheel of romance. And as everybody also knows, love is talk and do. If we do plenty talk and there's no doing, we know there are some people that when they say small thing like this, their head I swear. I'll not mention names. But yes, we also need to back up our words with actions. Yes, we need to build the right structures. Yes, we need to know the red flags to look out for when we're dating. Yes, we need to know when to have those difficult conversations. Yes, we need to know the kind of values that we have adopted in our backgrounds and how to correct them and how to also get feedbacks in our growth game or in our growth journey. But how do we do these things? How do we practically make sure that these things are either being worked on or corrected, or we are seeing results for them in our lives? And that is why we are not just going to leave you guys tonight with all these plenty talks, right? We are going to be introducing you to a framework, especially for you and any other person who you really care about, to build a life of financial clarity and stability together, right? We call it Mina. Mina by Smart Stewards. So you may be wondering, because we did the poll and some people are saying, oh, I don't know what Mina is about. Oh, I'm not on Mina. Oh, what is this product about? So yes, let's talk about Mina for a minute. So Mina is the blueprint for building wealth that lasts. Just keep that in your head. Mina is a blueprint for building wealth that lasts. It is a framework that has been designed to help you master how to make, manage, and multiply your money. And we have taken it a notch further this time around. We are not just focusing on you. We know you have loved ones who you have these money conversations with, or who your relationship with them affects your money. So yes, we hope that with all these conversations that we've been having tonight, you've been able to differentiate between which one is your money and which one is all of you's money. But regardless of whichever one you're trying to manage or you're trying to multiply, that is what we have designed Mina for. So with Mina, you can have an intensive and focused experience on how to take care or take control of your money. Mina provides you with 5 advanced financial literacy courses on how to make money, how to earn more, how to manage the one that you already have, how to multiply your money, how to protect it and make plans on it. I personally do not think that not celebrating Valentine because you're budgeting or you're saving is a valid excuse. Let's leave romance or selfishness or whatever out of it. If you are celebrating your birthday, macho men, buy cake for yourself. You did not offend anybody. Buy cake, right? Yes, you are budgeting, but also you worked for this money. You should learn to spend and spend wisely. Coach will say financial literacy or managing your money should not be a form of wickedness to yourself or so serious that you cannot even afford the good things of life, right? So with Mina, just as we have designed it, you are not just learning, you are not just practicing these things. You are also going to be a part of a community that holds you accountable, like our couples have shared tonight. You are going to find accountability. You are going to find comprehensive lessons that help you re-engineer your money mindset. Those not so good mindsets that we may have grown up with. I'm sure this is Nigeria or this is Africa. Everybody has different money stories to tell. Some of them are healthy, some of them are not so healthy. But with Mina, which we have designed, you also get to go through or learn programs or go through courses that would help you re-engineer your money mindset. You get financial goal setting toolkit. You can manage your inflow. You can manage your net worth. You can do budgeting. You can watch out for your cash flow and keep an eye on them. You can plan long term with your money. You can save, and you can do so much more with the help of a vibrant community and expert coaches. Let me brag a little bit. All of these things that Mr. Shea has been saying about his wife is because she's a part of the money, is because she's a part of the Smart Stewards community. She's one of our coaches, actually, and she's a very, very sound one at that. She has been with us for long. And if they can have this kind of money experience that you all can learn from tonight, imagine how much more you can learn when you're a part of the community by signing up on Mina itself. So yes, we are not just designing Mina for you. Usually, this package goes for 50,000, but because we love you and we know you have loved ones too, we are running a very discounted promo for Valentine's. So you and your partner, you and your bestie, you and your friend, you and your best friend, as it were, or even you and your wife, you and your husband, or you that you are still thinking, what can you give your wife for Valentine's? Give her financial clarity and financial literacy. Don't be the only one. We have some relationships where only one partner is the one hustling for financial stability for the family. Don't be the only one doing this. Let your partner also jump on it and learn. Let your partner also find some clarity around the finance in the home. So yes, we'll be dropping the link here. You get some of them also in your emails. You can sign up on Mina Pro for couples, and you can have an wholesome experience as you go on, so that this doesn't just end with yes, romance on money and romance unbundling. It should also go on, and so that you can find some relevant results in your financial life with you and your loved ones. So yes, that will just be a short intro that I will give you on Mina. You're going to learn more about this within the community as we go on. So I will just let us go back to answer some of the questions that we have left and see how far we can go with the evening. Thank you. Happy Valentine's.
Thank you. This one that you are shining your eyes. I hope you have a date for Valentine. Oh, yeah.
It's self-Valentine, please.
Self-Valentine. What's that? Is that a tech?
It's
a tech
self-Valentine.
word?
CSA is in your email.
Yeah.
It's self-Valentine, please.
You can send cake to me. I'll be your Valentine. All right, CK, can you take us through the key points while everyone is getting ready? We don't want to take your time too much, but it has actually been very, very insightful. We're reading all your comments online. This is really interesting and mind-blowing. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Oyagbile. Good evening. Watching from Akwa Ibom, even though I live in Lagos. Everybody is enjoying this session, and we are most grateful to you for coming in to come and talk to us about relationship. And I've also learned a lot as well. And if you have not received any of the 5 free books that CSA has given from the beginning of the year, there's an opportunity for you. The link is already out on Zoom. I'll also put it on YouTube now. Click on that Zoom and get 5 books. Those 5 books can begin to be part of your Valentine gift. If Papa is not sending cake, get yourself some books as well. So CK, please take it from here.
Thank you so much, DTF. Thank you, E. And of course, thank you, Coach, for the amazing session today. I've learned a lot. My notes are full. So a few things that stood out for me was from the beginning when you said that the way you go about making money says a lot about your values. What the things that we value speaks a lot about how we make money You know, a lot of people make money illegally, but when your values are rightly aligned, you make money the right way. Then you said that your money foundation is largely in your childhood. The way you were brought up also affects how you go about money, how you understand money, the habits, the culture around money that you grew up with. Then this one really touched me. You said money can be a covering in marriage, and it can bring resentment if it is not enough. And a lot of times in marriages, like you rightly said, one person might be struggling financially, and the other person has to, you know, step up and carry the family for that season. And yes, sometimes seasons take a while. Season takes a while. You might think you are holding the fort for, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and life happens, and 1 year after, you are still holding on to that, you know, to you being the cover for the family. And this can be challenging. I actually jot down a question here. I don't know if I can ask it now, but let's go on. Learning about money, even as a couple, is very important because money is a major challenge in marriage. Again, yes. And that is why we have packaged Mina for couples. The flyer is on the chat. You can check it out later. Before we end this, a link will be dropped where you can rightly just, you know, click the link and purchase the Mina. Mina is everything you need to know about money. Mina changed my life. I am a product of Mina. And I'm not saying this because I work with Smart Stewards. It's the truth. Yes. Moving on, don't be a pest to your partner. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm glad I don't have a partner, but family people can be a pest sometimes. Having siblings when you are the one that, especially when you are the firstborn, auntie, I'm hungry, auntie, I need data, all of those things, they weigh on us. Me, I don't know about every other person, but me personally, like say we say black tax, oh, plenty, plenty. I don't know how to depest them from my life, but yes, that. Then when there are financial pressures, who should carry the financial responsibility? Oh, this is a question. Okay. Uh, don't don't marry to escape poverty as a woman. I think Coach said this, and it struck me. A lot of women these days, they want to get married to somebody rich, somebody that will take care of them. We hear a lot of, please, I want to marry an Odogu that will treat me like an Achalugo. Remember that the Achalugo you saw was working, oh. She had a business, she had a 9 to 5. Please, thank you. Then lastly, when your when your mon when you borrow money, learn to pay back. That's financial integrity. I beg. Borrow, I beg. Pay back the money. Pay back the money. This Valentine's season, don't go and borrow money to do oblay with Valentine people. Pay back when you borrow. Thank you. That is all I have here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Coach. DTF, over to you, ma.
Oh my God, thank you for that very succinct wrap up. I didn't even know I was on, my mic was on and I was laughing so much here. Yes, please. Thank you so much. A big appreciation to Coach Olajumoke and Mr. Sheye for coming on board. People on YouTube are so I've read their comments. They are so grateful to you for coming on. And it's not everybody that celebrates Valentine, but if you are the type that celebrates, and then you can actually celebrate yourself, you know, you can celebrate yourself, you can be happy by yourself. That's even a very important thing. Be happy by yourself so that other people around you can also be happy too. First of all, get yourself to be happy. And that's why we are giving you the promo price for Mina. Buy Mina for yourself. It's the cost of one small cake anyway. So buy me enough for yourself and get this financial freedom that we have been talking about in Smart Stewards. We also appreciate Kosholade Shaki for the 5 books that she has been giving out even from the beginning of this year. We've shared the link and we look forward to having you on in our community. And if you want Coach Olajumoke to be your coach, then you need to come on to the Smart Stewards community so that you can see more of our beautiful face and learn more a lot from her and our other coaches as well. So we can say our byes now. It's 8:50, almost 9 o'clock. I know some people still want to go and do some dinner. If you are still going for dinner at this time, you are going to eat the leftover though. But tomorrow is Valentine. Enjoy your Valentine with the people you love and also get financial literacy. Come on to Mina. And that is our message for you tonight. Thank you, everyone. You can unmute to say your byes. Thank you. Okay, you can allow people to unmute. I see Bam Bam. I see a lot of our community people. I see Abigail all the way from Canada. Thank you.
Thank you.
If someone